Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
The Amazing Authorities podcast features amazing authorities, and today's guest has lived a similar life that I have. He's an American, just like I am. Many of you are listening, but we are true digital nomads, and we're living outside of the country, and our guest today lives in Cuenca, Ecuador, but out of... I missed. Oh, I thought you were in...
You have friends in Cuenca, but yes, I'm in Tulcan, on the northern border with Colombia.
Okay, well, Jackson is here at Jackson Calame or Calame is our guest today, and he's got a really interesting background from video to production. He was a first-time, or I would say one of the early adopters of AI before it became the buzzword and the market shift that it is today. He's got a big background in leadership. He's blunt and right to the point, which is what I admire about him, and truly an outlier.
Yeah.
It's the way I would describe
it. This is going to be fun, Mitch.
Huh?
This is going to be fun.
Yeah. And he's got a podcast, which he's going to share with us about. Well, let's jump in. Who do you cover in your podcast?
Oh, I love that. Mitch, again, thanks for hosting me. We interview visionary leaders. And so we have a very similar audience, you and I, of who we serve. And all of you who are listening, I hope you guys, even if you're amateurs, you run to the microphones, because here's Mitch, a rock star, unfair advantage, broadcasting for life. And even he didn't ask me what my last name was and how to pronounce it. Right. So everybody can make the same type of mistakes. It's Calame, by the way. And also that I'm in Tulcan. And on my side, I got into podcasting because I had a $45 microphone and a $60 camera, and StreamYard had opened the doors and Facebook to just going live. And I was like, you know what? I've got powerful stories that have been beneficial for me. They may be beneficial to others. And what if I also took other visionary leaders and brought them on stage, those who are phenomenal and have done TED Talks or on the Fortune 500 list or the Forbes 30 under 30 list. That's been fun, but I love interviewing, Mitch, people who are just getting started with their visions. They're not pretentious at all. Maybe some young kid who wants to cure cancer. Hearing about that story, what are you going to do this? Tell me about your vision. Where are you going with this? I want everybody who's starting out with visions to feel welcome to my stage and to come on and share with the world what they're up to. And who knows, it would be like interviewing Tony Robbins for his first interview ever. Wouldn't that be the coolest experience? So those are the types of people that I'm most excited to find.
He might be a little challenging to get on an interview today, but he started out we're born in the same year, Tony and I. He has, I remember watching him on TV in 1986 when he had unlimited power and he was selling the cassettes back then. That's how far back. And I thought, this guy is very compelling. I bought his...
Can you imagine him being your first guest? Like when he was new, when he was brand new, nobody knew him, and what it would do for your brand today?
I've got
Darren Hardy, Success
Calame.
Magazine.
Jackson Calame. Now I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for that correction. Yes, and I am imperfect. I make mistakes continually. Absolutely. And that is my duty as a broadcast professional to ask somebody how to pronounce their last name. And I didn't notice the difficulty until we were all right in it. And I thought, okay, Jackson's so easy. And you actually use an abbreviation in the way you're described, don't you?
In which way?
Well, not an abbreviation. Let me correct myself. AI is the new term, but you referred to it in a different way when I read your bio. Your background goes back about 15 years with automated systems.
Sure. Automated systems. I prefer leaning into the AI version of authentic intelligence as well.
There you go. That's what
I'll have that too. So
yes,
I'll add that as well, Mitch. Thank you. And again, my friends that are listening, and I hope that all of you are just as inspired as the day that I watched Tiger Woods at the Masters botch his putt 5 times across back and forth. And I was like, oh, I do that too. I was like, I can get on the golf course now. I don't have to be perfect. And so that was my point with that. Guys, we're going to make all sorts of mistakes on this. But as Mitch is pointing out, I've been using AI type if then logic programming since 2010 from a business standpoint. But all of us, all you listening in, you guys are all professionals with AI. You just may not know the lingo of how to get hired related to it and how to retain your jobs. And so just like I had to learn Spanish to be relevant in Colombia and Ecuador and belong, if you learn how to be relevant in relation to AI, your job's never going to be in jeopardy. Not because you're behind on AI. No, we've been using AI since GPS has been telling us where to go. We've been
Mm.
using AI since we've been hitting the like button on songs in Pandora or on YouTube, and that's been curating where we're going with it. We've been using AI ever since we've been using spam filters. All of us are experts in the world of AI, which don't know yet.
That's a man. What tools do you use today? Are you a tool junkie, or do you have? I mean,
No.
what's in your
I
toolbox?
love that you said that because a hammer is a hammer is a hammer for anybody who's an engineer or mechanic. And so chasing tools is not the benefit. Don't get me wrong. I've got to keep a pulse. And so I do that through Austin Armstrong and Scott Simpson. And I let them drive the Lamborghinis with no brake pedals. I won't touch that. I don't do that. I want to be
Yeah,
safe
so
with
for
my
those of us who
expert.
don't know, who are these people you mentioned, and how are they?
Well, if you can, you're one Google away, my friends. Just
Oh, yeah.
Google their names. If you can't Google their names, then you got bigger problems than AI. And so back to the AI reality. Um, I use Claude, and I wish Fable had been cleared because I was really excited to dive into Fable, but that's not really the point. The reason why AI is so successful for me is because I know how to guide it with authentic intelligence, and I know how to read when it's manipulating me, when it's deceiving me, when it's creating falsehoods. I'm willing enough to dive into the details and see how to create what's productive and profitable, which takes a pretty extreme amount of critique, especially with the AI. Now, Mitch, the bigger tool that I use that almost every business owner overlooks to their own demise that's AI oriented is ads, Facebook ads and YouTube ads. We've been using, anybody who's touched that has been using AI for years. It is an algorithm that is constantly doing a bidding war against other competitors on behalf of getting in front of the right people. And there's all these, I'll call them ad junkies, if you will, Mitch, these
Mm,
agencies. They're trying
mm.
to convince you, Mitch, do you really know what the psychographics are of your people? Have you really paid attention to what your niche, the riches are in the niches, Mitch? No, it's not. How niche is Google? How niche is Disney? How niche is Procter and Gamble? They're not niche companies. These companies are huge. And so back to the bigger point with that, AI is so strong within these companies that invested millions and millions of dollars. If your ad is phenomenal and you put it on YouTube or Facebook or probably even TikTok these days, if your ad's phenomenal, it's going to do phenomenally well. If your ad is garbage, you're probably going to blame Mark Zuckerberg for wasting your money when in reality, it's the fact that your offer is just not that great and people don't see the value in it. So they're all clicking to see fewer ads like this. We can take more ownership as entrepreneurs and realize that the tools aren't the secret sauce to success. It's us being able to communicate well with the tools.
So what have you discovered? And you're talking about ads, which, it's traffic. You're finding the right traffic. What have you
Huge.
discovered over your years from when you got into this to where you are today? And I'm sure it might even be a different answer in a year from now, but what have you learned along the road to identify the right audience with the right message? Because the offer is where it begins or ends.
Well, I will challenge the last bit just because it's a little bit too oversimplified. But yes, there's offers, there's audience, there's messaging, there's infrastructure. There's a reason why the top brands in the world are brands that we all know, and they remove the friction throughout their infrastructure and their processes. And so, what did I learn? One of the biggest lessons I learned that most people will never get the chance to see was when I started working at Video Power Marketing, and we had 70,000 people per month coming to our website, and we had companies that were advertising with us that had a minimum ad spend of $10,000 per month. That was in 2014. They were spending $100,000 on Google ads. They were spending $50,000 on Facebook ads at that time. Mitch, that's a ton of data, of real data and raw
Huge,
data. What is
huge.
working and what isn't. And these companies, they didn't make stupid decisions based on low incremental fees. They didn't try to overanalyze a $500 ad spend budget. They didn't try to tell their SEO guy, hey, I know you want 90 days to do this, but you really need to get the ball on because our company sucks and we can't figure things like that. Small businesses have such a limiting belief factor. The law of scarcity is so strong in most small businesses. And my hope is that the small business owners with humility will hear me say that and go, you know what? Maybe I can lean more into the law of abundance. Maybe I can see the value of properly investing in my brand. Maybe Jackson's right in that if I ask what's the least amount of water I can give to my garden, I'll be a bad gardener. Well, isn't that true of business too? What's the least amount I can, if I ask Mitch, how much does it cost to work with you? I might as well ask Mitch, what's the least amount I can pay you to work together? What a slap in the face. That's not recruiting. That's not whining and dining. That's me showing Mitch that I'm going to think small and I'm going to treat him small. And so all these little things, back to the budget aspect, when the budgets are $10,000 plus on ads, when these companies are truly investing, you get distribution on your side. Supply and demand becomes in your favor. Now you get the pick of the litter of who you want to work with. Now your average order values go up. Now you get to see, crap, our landing page isn't converting the way that it should. What do we need to do to change that? And we get to practice conversion rate optimization with true knowledge of what actually needs to change. We can reverse engineer success doing that. You can't do that when you operate as a cheap business owner.
I love the bar being set at, I mean, going back that many years to $10,000 a month, you automatically filter out the small business owner that doesn't have that budget. And
yes, you do.
And what was the revenue minimum that when people embrace the $10,000? What were they typically?
That's a great question. Great question. And there's not, because and again, it's the wrong facet. If Mark Zuckerberg wants to launch a new company with me and he's got zero revenue for the new company, revenue does not matter. And too many entrepreneurs think they're going to launch a new business and say, oh, I'm going to spend 7 to 8% on marketing because that's what the SBA says. And that's what so-and-so said. And it's all a lot. Venture capitalists recommend at least 20% to 50% get put in to your advertising on an ongoing basis. They would never touch a client who's not going to invest in their own brands because they're actually bought into that brand succeeding. But brand new businesses don't have a percent threshold. They have to find a way. How am I going to go get capital? What am I going to do to fund this? What can I do to inspire people like Elon Musk did? He sold 180,000 cars that wouldn't exist for 2 to 3 years. And people put $1,000 on that car. Everybody put $1,000 in. That's crazy. It's not really crazy. It's clear vision with a phenomenal culture, excellent leadership, and that's what they marketed. The product and service came later, but they had to fulfill or he was going to prison. Right. So there's a delicate balance, but I look for entrepreneurs who are truly dedicated to their craft, who have experience of what they're doing. And we don't do the $10,000 threshold. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. And I love that Jake does it. The more you put into your business, the more you get out. It's a compound effect, just like if I put $100 million into a savings account. But in reality, it's when the business owner is stingy or acts like a burn victim or is like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to make these decisions. Like, that's scary. I'm like, I don't want to get in the car with that guy.
I get it. Well, if I were to rephrase the question, what would be the typical revenue number of somebody that would embrace the $10,000 a month?
I have no idea. To be honest with you, no. We ran 20 campaigns maximum at a time. So
a selective
that we're drawing
clientele
from is so small, I would be irresponsible by saying that there's like a predictor here. But you can ask AI. In fact, I just built a tool with AI to do that, Mitch, for people. As the tool is a B2B pipeline flow calculator. And Gemini was so interested in giving me the right case studies to prove the KPIs that it found. It literally invented a fake company, invented a fake study, and invented a fake hyperlink to convince me that its data was true. And I had to dig and found out, no, it was a complete farce, a hallucination.
Wow.
It was just lying to me. So I'm very, very careful. Like I said, I'm like obsessively careful about any data that I'm going to follow has to be sound. And I'm going to lean into principles and intuition. And that, as you know, it's hard earned. You've been broadcasting for decades. There's things that you can see in 3 seconds that would go right over my head. I'd be like, oh, I didn't even notice that. That's a good trick. That's neat. And why? Because you've played the game. You've put the 10,000 plus hours in.
I love that. Do you consider yourself, the 10,000 hours applies? I have run events all over the world, and one particular country, Singapore, has a place called lifelong learning. And you walk up the
Hmm.
stairs to the second floor where I ran one of my events a few years back. This is right before the pandemic. So it was 2019. And on the wall, they embraced Malcolm Gladwell's teaching so much, they wrote 10,000 hours.
Ah.
Just 10,000 hours. So it goes back to his book Outliers. You put in the time. And what's your understanding of that 10,000 hours?
Well, a great question again. So I tend to go too deep, Mitch. So I apologize any audience members who
No,
don't
but I
dig
think
deep,
it's
but
an
I'm all
important
about it.
topic. Yeah, it's
Oh,
an
it's
important.
huge. So 10,000 hours, I believe that it's so important to develop five virtues. I won't work with people who aren't obsessed with, if you will, or dedicated authentically to five virtues. The first one's love and the foundation of love itself. Second is patience. If I don't have patience, I'm not going to be great at hospitality. And hospitality is key for being able to help people. And I also have to have persistence. And most people think patience and persistence go against each other, but they don't. They actually go hand in hand. I can patiently take care of Mitch when he's might be upset. And you're a bad example in that because you're not an upset guy. You've been a super awesome leader throughout this whole process, even though I go against the grain. And so then there's that persistence of, am I willing to follow up? Am I willing to follow through? Am I going to, and that leads me to consistency. And can I do it consistently over and over? Guys, the bar is low. In North America, at least in the United States, most people struggle so badly with consistency that if you can just be consistent for 3 weeks, for crying out loud, like you can look like a professional that's outperforming 95% of people. And then there's the last one, that's reliability. I might be consistent at opening the door for the bank every single morning, but might not be reliable when it comes to talking about your strategy related to your wealth and your funding. And so those five core values, I want to see that somebody has been dedicating 10,000 hours to developing each one of those values and virtues. And I'm looking for people who are experienced as experts in their craft. So let's say a chef that's been working as a chef for 10 years or so, or let's say the 10,000 hour rule. But he's had to learn to mop the floors. He's had to learn to be the expo. He's had to learn to greet people too. And so that's not, you can't really say that's 10,000 hours of expertise. He's had 10,000 hours in the trade. 10,000 hours of expertise comes when you get the depth of knowledge to where you can start playing the game at a different pace and a different level. And so I find that if I look for founders, team members, and people who have gotten to that 10,000 hours of expertise and whatever it is, Mitch, they're not going to give up. I don't care how hard their life is and how many challenges they've been against, they're going to grind it out and they're going to find out how to turn that into something amazing. And if they happen to have also developed the virtues, then it's going to be really fun to build with them. They're going to love me. I'm going to love them. They're going to be tolerant of mistakes. I'm going to be tolerant of mistakes. And we can have a really great time building something amazing. But I hope that answers your question to some degree. 10,000 hours is a opportunity to leverage a simple principle in complex matters that leads to producing results.
Nicely put. And I would say it allows you the opportunity to become closer to perfection, closer to excellence. Perfection is not achievable. I would say
Sure.
excellence is achievable. And if you've put in the hours, we talked a little bit before we started the recording about the martial arts, which is a passion of mine. You studied yourself. And if somebody puts in, like I've tied quite a few black belts on students over the years from when I had a school and I was an instructor. And
Cool.
I had informed the newly acquired black belt, you've just begun. And this is long before Malcolm Gladwell came on the scene. And I love his books, love all of his books. I highly recommend them. You've just mastered the basics. No, you've just begun learning, because the real learning comes through natural instinct. As if somebody throws a punch at you in life, and it doesn't have to be a physical blow, how do you deflect it or redirect it? And it's through those years of doing something repeatedly. When you came into the video space, back, I don't know how many years, was it 15 years ago when you worked for Video Power Marketing? Was that
Oh, the first video we produced that I ever gotten produced with was Restaurant Connect, and a super helpful story. That was in 2013, I'm gonna guess.
okay?
First time I dabbled in how do we get a video? Who do we hire? Which people do we contract with? How important is it that we make it super fake looking and overproduced? Hint, hint. Right. And how many views are we going to get? And what's going to change the world for our brand? And yeah, I've been dabbling for a
I
long
love your
time.
subtle sarcasm.
Well,
But
I'm
leave an
freaking sick of it for
afterbite.
the business owners that get their butt kicked every day. It's like we got to tell them the truth. This stuff is hard. We got to lean in.
What is your greatest success story of a client you've worked with? I love hearing about what somebody walked in. You can name them or not. Or if you've got
Yeah,
somebody,
I
one
mean,
of your favorites, let's just say that you feel
I'm
like, hey,
always going to
man,
go back to Jake Larson, probably.
oh,
So Jake Larson of Video Power, he is my favorite mentor in life.
oh,
And I
wow.
don't talk to him too often anymore, but we've had periods where he's the best friend, and again, I got to be his right hand man. But when it comes to success, obviously, you could say, well, Dr. Eric Berg has 14 million followers on YouTube. You could say, well, Lewis Howes has way
Hmm.
more than that, accumulative across brands, etc. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to take anything away from any of those great leaders.
Sure.
Yet when we look at the full level of success, um, I still want to be the type of dad that Jake is. Like, I still want to figure out everything I can about how did he get so solid? How did he get so secure? How did he become so authentic? He doesn't try to get in front of people. He just does get in front of people. He doesn't, he just emulates his best and has for a very long time. He's worked very hard on, I shouldn't even say, it doesn't even look like he works very hard, but I know he does. I know he studies. I know he cares. I know he goes to Entrepreneurs Organized, and I'm enjoying that in the last couple of years. I know that when we were growing the company and we grew it 3 times revenue within 18 months, he said, Jackson, I got to let you go. I want to scale back down. And he scaled back down. Why? He was having a second child and he wanted to put his family first. And he wanted to go down from 20 clients down to 5. And he wanted to kill the coaching program because while he was able to help people, it was draining him a little bit more. And the way that he operates with balance and grace and allows abundance to just kind of flow without being tacky with the law of attraction and stuff like that. Like he doesn't force it. He just emulates and oozes everything that I hope that I continue to learn how to be.
You didn't say it's because of money. You said it's because of who he is. And that
Absolutely.
is impressive. Most people would default, but you're not a most people kind of guy. I've been able to figure out very quickly. Is most people would respond to, "Hey, I admire that. I did this with Lewis Howes. We took him here." But you remarked about the man you worked for who let you go, and you were talking about who he is, not what he's done.
Absolutely. Well, and Mitch,
That's
let me
impressive,
add
Jakes
let me
Jackson.
add further to that. And again, I got to honor Jake as much as possible. I thought that it was over a disagreement we had about partnership, and he started to say, "Yeah, no," and then he waived his non-compete with me. He gave me an extra month's salary. The waiving the non-compete was huge. I was like, Jake, I got 7 years. I'm not even allowed to touch digital marketing. He said, No, you don't. He said, Go build. He said, You're ready. Spread your wings, Jackson. Like you deserve to
Wow. He
move.
blessed
And
you.
then well, and so I again, I'm leaving that and I'm crying literally, and I'm
Right.
like trying to do everything I can to get him to realize like don't go this route, and so, but he didn't know I was about 4 months away from leaving. I was already planning my exit. I was planning on launching my agency and moving. I knew we were going to have a conversation, and every week, Mitch, Jake called me. Hey man, how you doing? You doing okay? You need any leads?
Wow. Wow.
Every single week he checked in on
Wow.
me without me
Caretaker.
having to say anything,
What
and
a nice
I
person.
never I never took him up on the leads at the time. I knew that it was time to kind of, like you said, spread my wings and figure some
Mm.
things out. And we've had a couple of passive discussions over the years, but I also, I kind of took what I learned from Jake to heart, Mitch, and I was like, you know what? While I could lean in and use my superpowers of like connecting and kind of forcing an angle Grant Cardone style, mm-mm. I'm just going to keep building. And if what I build aligns so well with what Jake's up to in his life, and our lives happen to organically come back together and cross, then cool. Like I would love that. That would be amazing. But I don't feel like I'm in a position where I need to do that. Jake's not my savior. I have a savior.
Mm.
To go religious on it. He is a friend and he is there, but I haven't even invited him to be on Vision Pros. We're 2,500 plus guests in. And it's like someday
Oh my
I
gosh,
know
that's
that
a huge
that circle
podcast.
will come through. Yeah, we've got a
Wow,
lot. And
2,500. Wow,
and
that's a
so
lot.
we've got a lot in opportunity. And
That
I
shows
don't,
commitment. I mean, I gotta pause you right there, Jackson.
go
As a
ahead.
fellow podcaster, and as a man who sold products on live TV for 3 years with Home Shopping Network, I know what that number is huge. And I was a radio show guy in LA. 2005. I'm sorry, I got to pause there.
You're
That's
good.
that's impressive. Most podcasters, and you probably know this because you've been in the podcasting space longer than I have, fail or quit. Not fail. They
Mhm.
choose to leave the space after 8 episodes.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And we could
Eight,
have at
if they even
2,500.
make it there. If they even make it there. What did you right there? Oh my God, I could interview you extensively just about that topic. But if you could give me just a few takeaways, what did you learn after doing this for 2,500 episodes? Wow, you just made my head swim with that one. And I want you guys to
Well,
listen. That proves discipline, focus, commitment, and obviously authenticity, or you wouldn't be where you are today. And
yeah.
I got to give you
Thank you.
applause there, man, because that is a lot. That's a black belt with several stripes on it, man, in the podcasting
Thank you.
space. I'll
I
tie it on you
appreciate you.
right there.
Dang, man. I love that. And I appreciate it. And people, all of you who are listening, I hope that you hear what Mitch is saying, not about me. It's about your opportunity.
Mm.
And when I say what I say next, I hope you don't piss your pants, walk away, and not move your life forwards. Because 2 months ago, Mitch, we were still at 125 subscribers on YouTube. How many people would stay committed to podcasting with 2,500 episodes and less than 200 subscribers in a world where it's constantly demanding your attention and saying you should be winning faster, etc.? Probably only those of us who agree with Alex Hermosi, that I decided when I started this that I was going to do this for 10 years. And I was going to spend every day making a little bit better and doing the best that I can on my processes.
I
And in
love
10
it.
years, I will figure out, what did we do? What did we learn? Where are we going from here with this? Well, those of you who want the fun side of that, because I know most of us can't live life without knowing ice cream's at the end of the tunnel, we're at 16,000 subscribers today
In
over the
two
last two
months.
months. Yep, we've
Wow.
gone up by 16,000. And how and why? There's no one secret trick, my friends, but here's my worry for you. If you crack the code on virality before you discipline yourself to understand the authenticity, the value of persistence, the value of follow through, and all of that, there's a quote, it's not what you know, it's who you know. My quote is, it's not what you know, it's who you know, but then it's what you know. Because if you fall on your face in front of those people, you're screwed. Your
Correct.
reputation is
Total
toast.
100%.
So
Bing.
you've got to be able to have both. And so and how did I get to 2,500 episodes within 3 years? Not grind. Heck no, not hustle. Diligence, sure, tenacity, consistency, reliability, but I also understand delegation. I've had 7 co-hosts. I made sure to create an empire. I
Okay,
made sure
okay,
to
okay.
share the
So this
pie
wasn't you doing this alone. You
process.
had help.
Oh, I've had help, and
Oh,
I have 6 team members who help me behind the scenes in the podcast, and now we've got 2 new co-hosts. Here's the neat thing about sharing the pie, my friends. Again, I don't want to burn any past hosts. Some have just had other priorities in life. But my coach, Coach Fletcher Ellingson, he's my life coach, not my business coach, but he's a phenomenal life coach. He was a co-host for 6 months, and while the business of the podcasting didn't work out, if you will, the good news, I don't owe him any equity. I don't know how many rev share. He produced probably 100 episodes with me. That was a mutual value that he benefits from, that I benefit from. It didn't sustain long term for that relationship, but he's still my coach, and we still have a
hmm.
great relationship. And maybe someday I bring him back again. But my point is, I think too many people are so obsessed with the solopreneur path, Mitch. They have this idea, especially with AI now. Now everybody thinks
Mm,
they can just do it alone. Yet
right.
in those circles with Michael Hyatt, T. Harv Eckert, even Pagan, Billie Jean Marketing, Ted McGrath, I mean, almost any of those voices behind the room, they call solopreneurs entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs never make it.
Mm,
Solopreneurs entrepreneurship is a team sport. There's a lot of infrastructure
100%. You
involved in
got
it.
you got to
I've
leverage.
met I've met people with hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of followers that are dirt broke, but they act like they're winning because they feel like they have to in order to inspire people. What a sad life. I don't want to be that person. I want to sleep well at night. I want to
So
enjoy.
who's qualified to work with Jackson Kalam?
Yeah, qualified to work with me. You don't even have to pronounce my name right. To work with me. I'm teasing you, Mitch. Again, I'm looking for people who are loving, patient, persistent, consistent, and reliable, and that have that expertise, and that really want to empower people that are in the C level. And you have to know what the C stands for in order to do that. It stands for chief. And if you're going to have a chief, that means one, they can't be a dictator. But so many founders are stuck in a loop of absolute power corrupts absolutely. They never
Mm,
really empower the chief to make decisions on their behalf, and they constantly control them, and they don't mean to. But it's so what I would prefer though is, my friends, if you feel like you're aligned with the hard things I've shared today, but you want to lean into the love side, come be a guest on visionproslife.com. Come be our guest. And that gives me the chance to do what I call the combine experience. The San Antonio Spurs don't go around recruiting at random. Neither do the New York Knicks. They have a system of systems that they've invested millions of dollars into, tons of emotional and intellectual and mental intelligence into making sure that the people who come through are truly aligned. And if the person is truly aligned, they'll feel it, and so will I, and we can start looking at how do we move things to the next level. But until that transformation process unfolds, the transaction to me, you can't pay me enough money to work with somebody who's a pain.
got it. No,
They're
I
not.
I understand. So if they want to work with you, where's the best place to find you?
I'm pretty easy to find. I've done so much work on SEO, Mitch, that when you
Okay.
Google I'm the only Jackson Calame in the world, guys.
Okay.
I have the luck. John Smith, I'm so sorry for you. Right, you have a very big uphill battle, but my SEO is right there. So just come engage with me as a human being. And if you
Okay.
ask me the question, how much does it cost to work with you? You've just asked me how much is the least I can pay you. Go to AI first and find out why that's a bad question and what the best companies in the
Got
world
it.
do to recruit. Then you'll be better prepared to recruit Mitch, myself, and everybody else who can help you magically build your kingdom. So
Well, great. All right. So they just look up your name and then they'll find you, Jackson Callum. I hope I pronounced it
if you
correctly.
can't, I can't help you.
Yeah. Well, all right. And all right, for those of you that are, it's Jackson, and how do you spell Callum? Calame. So that
Yes.
way you won't look indefinitely. You'll look specifically, and you'll find Jackson, who's been an outstanding guest today on the Amazing Authorities podcast. He is truly an amazing authority, and I respect the fact that a person operates outside of the lines, and he lives overseas like I do, and that's a different cut of a person who lives outside and goes back to the homeland when necessary. And what's going on in our homeland right now is quite interesting. And that could be a whole topic itself. But I'm going to listen in on Vision Pros Live and see what you're doing. Man, that's impressive. 2,500 episodes. And I would love to learn under maybe a private call how you got all those subscribers on YouTube. That's amazing in
Oh
two
man, it's
months.
fun.
Man, what a
The
journey.
amazing authorities, by all means, Mitch, I want to give a huge shout out back to you. I have
Okay.
to. Those who are listening, you guys got to understand the power and value of what Mitch is up to. We got 8 billion people in this world, Mitch, who need these types of conversations. They
So
desperately need these types of conversations throughout the world. And so the fact that you've done everything that you can to pull your career together to a point where you're also giving back in terms of podcasting, and sure, does Mitch need to make money? I would hope so. Is Mitch capitalist? Again, I hope so. You have every right. And here's the thing, guys. I believe strongly that people like Mitch, the more financial access they have, the greater good they can do. My personal trainer is only as good as the available tools and the available time that they have with me to help me on my body. I need that person to be blessed financially. And so I just want to pour into all of you, support podcasts like Mitch, carry the torch too, because neither Mitch nor I can help all 8 billion people by ourselves. We need more people stepping up and helping with this. And if you want to grow revenues, you want to grow profitability, and you've got to lean into better and better leaders. That is really the best route to do it. I hope you're the unicorn who can win by yourself if you're doing that. God bless you. But 10 years of trying that until I switched to team mode and realized like, okay, I got to get out of my own way. I hope you learn your lessons faster than I did.
Jackson, thank you so much for your time today, and you have a fantastic day. Well, let me see. It's evening for you. It's morning, real early morning for me, as living in other parts of the world, and we'll be in touch.
You're the man.
Okay, take care, buddy.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.